What's up everyone, it's your boy August BTC back again with another video. Today we're just going to do a quick portfolio update just to show you how the account is doing, what's happening in the market, and yeah, what are we planning. So for those that are new, my name is August and I'm a crypto options trader. The goal of this channel is simply to show you guys how to trade crypto options or how to print money or grow a portfolio through trading Bitcoin and Ethereum or crypto options in general. Throughout this channel, I've been showcasing, and the journey basically of the channel is to get my account to $10,000 from where I started, which was around $1,000. So that is about the goal. Strictly through crypto options, full transparency, real money, real trades. So let's get into it, guys. First things first, the price action of Bitcoin, as always. We're still in the bear market, as I've mentioned, because what dictates or what shows that we're in a bear market is by looking at this 200-day moving average. Historically, if the price action of Bitcoin trades below it, we're in a bear market, and any rally that we kind of see like now proves to be a relief rally. Let me show you what happened here basically in May. Bitcoin pumped all the way here, and then it was rejected at a 200-day moving average. So until we break this level, we're still in a bear trend. But for now, Bitcoin is up. It's been doing pretty well today for the past 2 days or so. Bitcoin and Ethereum, Bitcoin just broke 65K and is currently at 66. It went all the way to actually almost $67,000 today. Ethereum is also doing pretty well. It broke this previous high here, and yeah, it's sitting right now at went all the way to 1950. So things are looking pretty good. It's pumping. And why is it pumping? So obviously, like I always say, I always look at the macro and see what, causes Bitcoin or Ethereum to either pump or dump, because this obviously affects my portfolio. So first things first, one thing that's happening here is that the White House pushes the Senate Democrats to accept the President Trump's ethics deal and pass the crypto clarity. So one thing that's going on here is something that's very important. It's basically the Clarity Act. And just to quickly explain what the Clarity Act is in a simple manner, it's something that's actually very important for Bitcoin, and everyone is actually waiting for it. So I'll quickly just run down and explain to you guys what a Clarity Act basically is, and why it's really important for crypto. So what exactly is a Clarity Act? Just to quickly, summarize, it's a major US crypto market structure bill. It's a bill that the USA actually wants to pass regarding crypto, right? It provides regulatory certainty, requires, customer asset segregation, and in a nutshell, you guys can pretty much read through this, but the benefits behind it is Bitcoin is obviously widely viewed as a digital commodity, right? So now the bill will basically confirm that it's CFTC and not the SEC, which is in the US, which is, becomes primary oversight, reducing enforcement risks. So this will then enable, big institutions to come into Bitcoin and, start buying more Bitcoin, which will then in turn pump the price of Bitcoin. So this is actually very important. So in terms of what's happening, the Clarity already passed in the House last year. Now it needs to be voted in and passed in the Senate so that it can then be signed by President Donald Trump and put into law. So they are looking at making this happen before August. So that's basically why the price action of Bitcoin is, pumping. So again, this is a very massive bill. It's basically a bill that's going to approve the regulation of Bitcoin to say, listen, we vouch for Bitcoin, let's put it into law, and this will basically enable massive banks, massive investors, to jump in and buy Bitcoin, right, and trade it or whatever. And this will obviously push the price action of Bitcoin. That's why I feel like we're very early. This is a great opportunity, guys, to get into Bitcoin, because, the whole world is embracing Bitcoin, right? It's a massive asset, it's a scarce asset, just like gold, probably better than gold and silver. It's scarce. There's only 21 million Bitcoin, and yeah, I'm just going to go much higher than what it is right now. Anyways, let's look quickly at the portfolio and how we're looking. First things first, I always like to say that this is where I trade. I trade crypto options on Deribit. which is the best crypto exchange out there. And these are my real positions. As you can see here, this is where I execute the trades. You know, I buy, I sell, my orders are there, my money is in this account and everything. But because the UI isn't so great or friendly, I created a dashboard that basically makes things a little bit easier to read. So let's have a look at the account and see what's going on. First things first, I always like to look at the oxygen, which is the maintenance margin. As you can see, we're getting close to 50. And as I've said before, I like the maintenance margin to be below 50. If this thing goes to 100%, my whole account gets liquidated and I lose my entire money. And obviously I do not want that. So why is this pushing up a little bit? Because Bitcoin is pumping. Okay, so first things first, let's look at this. We're still up a little bit. The total P&L of the account, we're up 6%, so about $192, which is about 3,000 Rand. We went down a little, and I'll explain why. What I like is that the theta that we're collecting each and every day is $13 each and every day. So that's about 200 Rand each and every day for free for doing absolutely nothing. As you guys know, I like to, you know, arrange my book or portfolio so that it produces more theta, because theta is what I get paid each and every day, right? Theta decay, which is really, really good. And because I'm primarily an option seller, or I'm the way that I'm building my book is a little bit more towards, you know, collecting more theta. So now this is the reason why, you know, the maintenance margin is pushing up to 50, because the total book, this is the delta. Think of delta as the direction of your book. If you are positive, that means you are bullish. That means your book is long. That means if the market pumps, your book or your entire portfolio will pump. But if you are delta negative, that means if the market pumps, you will lose money. But if the market dumps, you will make money. Very important. Okay, so right now, because the market is pumping very, very fast, because I have a lot more short calls, you see short calls here, right, on Bitcoin and Ethereum, because I have these short calls here, they're getting threatened. Okay, because they're getting threatened, the delta here is increasing, which then ultimately, you know, adds up to this total delta here, which makes it more negative, and which, you know, then pushes the maintenance margin, you know, pretty high. That's basically what's happening here. So that's basically the explanation of my maintenance margin. But I have everything under control. This is expected to happen because we're in a bear market. In a bear market, I'm trying to work towards getting more capital, more premium, this net premium here. If everything stays the same, and Bitcoin stays below 66 where it is right now, and in the next 37 days, I stand to make this entire amount $466, which is about 7,600 Rand. You know, that'll be added to my account. And each and every day, this amount gets decayed by this theta each and every day. So, that's basically what's happening. So let's look at the individual positions just to explain to you guys a little bit more detail what's happening. So I have this beautiful long perpetual contract that never expires that basically helps me to participate in the capital appreciation of Bitcoin. So far it's doing fantastic. I've opened this position when Bitcoin was around, you know, 61k ish, and then I averaged up a little bit. So my entry is about 61,700, but now look where Bitcoin is. I've made some great amount of money because of that, and I took some profit. So if I go here, I close some profit today. So I close the position here, close about $100 today, which equates to about 1,800 Rand, which I closed today because, you know, Bitcoin pumped a lot. As you can see, these are the positions here, really, really good, that I closed, you know, on that perpetual contract. So that's basically what happened. So I took some profit off the table, you know, which is very important to always take profit, because, you know, this position was like in $600 of profit. So right now we're sitting at 8,000 Rand. So yeah, so I took some profit, like I think micro profits, and then unlocked in $100, as you can see. So I'll keep this position open and I'll ride this position into the bull market. I'll also look to increase the size of this position so that I can get a lot more profits here. Okay, so this is pretty self-explanatory. Bitcoin pumps, this position pumps for me, and I'll look to increase the size. The size that I'm controlling now is 0.12 Bitcoin, which is basically 0.12 of one whole Bitcoin. So this should be about, I don't know, $6,000, $7,000 that I'm controlling here, which is great. So what I also have is I have a put credit spread. These two positions here is called a put credit spread, basically where you're selling a short put at a higher strike, and then you're buying a long put at a lower strike, 56, 55K, right? So you can see the difference here is very small in terms of the credit that I'm receiving, the difference between 105 and 95. So the reason why I have this is my insurance to the downside. If Bitcoin decides to crash and goes to zero, my loss will be capped because of this. So my account will not bleed, So that's why I have this. Is very important to have in your portfolio, especially when you're in the bear market, a put credit spread. That's what I have here basically. Again, if the market dumps, this position has a maximum loss of, if I'm not mistaken, about I think $50 or $60. So Bitcoin can literally go to zero, guys, tomorrow, and the maximum loss that the account will receive on this particular total position here is literally minus $50 or $60 because of this. So very, very important. But now what I have as income, because I love income, I love getting paid, is these short calls that are bleeding. Why they're bleeding? They're bleeding because, again, Bitcoin is pumping. As you can see, Bitcoin is at 66K, which is just $1,000 away from 67. So because of that, the short calls are feeling threatened, 67, 68, and 69. So I'm hoping and that in the next 37 days Bitcoin stays below 67. If that doesn't happen, the only thing that I'll do, I'm just going to roll the positions up. So I'm just going to move them up. That's basically what I'm going to do. So if maybe Bitcoin reaches 67K and breaches a strike, I'm going to roll this position from 67 and then maybe move it to 70K and then collect more premium, okay, which is going to be added here. Obviously I will realize the loss, but I'm not really feeling it because, again, by then, Bitcoin will be pumping to kind of help offset the loss a little bit as well. So that's basically what's happening with these positions. So I've collected this amount of premium, which gets added here basically. Same thing with Ethereum. Ethereum, I don't have a long perp for Ethereum because my perp got stopped out. I put a stop loss at break even for my perpetual contract and I got stopped out, so I'm waiting for a re-entry. That's another thing, guys. It's very important not to just FOMO and enter positions, right? I'm waiting for a re-entry. I have a feeling that Ethereum might go down, and if that happens, then I can enter. All right, I can enter. So right now what I have is I also have a put credit spread here for Ethereum to basically manage my downside on Ethereum if anything happens. And then for premium play, I have these two positions that I opened where I'm receiving $47, $57. Currently, it's also bleeding because look where Ethereum is, 1.9, and the closest short call is at 1.950. So again, it's getting threatened. Very, very important to know what's happening in your book, guys. But again, hopefully in the next 37 days, Ethereum stays under 1,950 and under 2,050. So what I have here is, because I don't have a long perp for Ethereum, I bought a long call to help me participate in capital appreciation a little bit, and also to help reduce the maintenance margin. So this is more of a tactical play. I'm not really worried about this. This position is more about a tactical play. And when you buy a call, if Ethereum keeps on pumping, specifically above your entry, you'll be printing money basically, right? But I'll be closing this position. This is just a tactical play because I don't have a perpetual contract on Ethereum. So that's basically what's happening here in the positions, guys. And just to show you the account summary or where we at, we are basically fluctuating, at the peak, fluctuating between $2,700 and $2,800. So basically between 47,000 to 46,000 Rand. That's where we basically fluctuating. We went down a little bit to 44 again because of the delta, the negative delta, because Bitcoin was pumping and this thing was just more negative. So that's where we're looking at. The goal is to get this account to 164,000 Rand, which is about $10,000. So that is the goal. But so far so good. I like the fact that we're forming higher highs and higher lows. And yeah, guys, I'm just being fully transparent. As you can see here on the 3-month chart, we still have a long way to go. Today we're down just about $32, which is about 500 Rand that we lost today. Again, this is unrealized P&L. So I haven't really realized any losses. It's just floating P&L. Okay, like paper losses. Nothing is realized. So yeah, so the goal is to get to this peak again, guys. So you're approaching it slowly but surely. We'll get there. We just need to be patient. So that's basically it, guys. If you guys like the content, feel free to drop a like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you guys on the next one.